It's really cool to hear some of the early Uber Eats kind of stories. But going back to your time there, I'm sure there were lots of challenges and learnings. But what would you say some of your key learnings were that you've taken with you to Clutch?
Uber was very good at throwing um, people at problems. And what I mean by that is a lot of people default to product and building product to solve problems. And I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make because product is expensive. It's cheaper now than it was maybe that back then, but it's hard to build. And generally, you don't really know what you're building until you actually operationalize it first. And so a good example was that early days at Uber, there was no mechanism for anyone to manage the marketplace, meaning supply and demand, right? And so without some kind of market regulating mechanism, your marketplace is out of whack and you get angry customers. You get food that's being prepared, piling up at restaurants with no one to pick them up. The consumers are unhappy and hangry because they want their food. And so we didn't have any tools to be able to actually manage that marketplace. And the only tool we had was the radius, the delivery radius of the restaurant. It started off being manual. I remember New Year's Eve was a 2020, no, 20, New Year's Eve 20, probably 2018. My team would take shifts, and I remember I took because I was the GM and I had to show leadership. I took like the 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. shift, and you sit there in front of me. I was at a friend's party. I was like on my computer managing the radius of different restaurants to make sure that the demand and supply was like at equilibrium. So and it took a while for us to build tools, but until we actually knew how that tool was supposed to work, it was really hard to build product. And so the next evolution of that was like, it was our team managing it. Then we actually outsourced it to a team in the Philippines that had these like plugins that would automatically tell you which, based on weather. And we had one computer running like a Google Sheet that the team in the Philippines would use and have this like, I have this computer picture of a computer says, don't turn this computer off. This like manages the entire Uber Eats system, globally. And then we did that, and then eventually over time, as we got to a point where we were scaled, that this system that we put in place with these outsourced folks in the Philippines, then we were able to build product around that. But like if you kind of like rush to the product solution first, you waste a lot of time and money and energy building something that you don't actually know what you need. And so, a big takeaway from my time is it's okay to do really manual processes before you build product. And in fact, I think that's the best way to build product because it teaches you what you have to build. And then from there, you can actually use that to build the right product for the right problem, whether it's consumer facing or whether it's back end. And so I think a lot of people take for granted the ability to take existing tools or half of our play out of Clutch. We ran, I would say like our entire supply acquisition on an Airtable for a really long time. It was messy, it was broken, Airtable would always break. But then you get to a point where, okay, well, you know exactly what you need to build and you build it. And you get to a point where you realize, okay, this is not scalable, but it's good enough. It's good enough, right? And I think good enough is actually good enough for a long time.